2014 Jaguar F-Type 2.0T. First they came for the compacts, and we didn't speak out because we didn't much care. Then they came for the regular sedans, and the promise of turbocharging bought both our silence and tacit assent. But now the insidious forces of downsizing have come for our sports cars, and there's nobody left to hear our pain. Porsche's decision to move the 718 generation of the Boxster and Cayman from a zinging flat 6 to a turbocharged flat 4 could be justified by the brand's long association with smaller engines, from the 4-cylinder 356 onward. But Jaguar has no such historical excuses for the shrink ray it has applied to the F-Type's power plant, with the new 2.0-litre base model marking the first time this British brand has produced a sports car with fewer than 6 cylinders. The power plant in question is Jaguar Land Rover's newly developed Ingenium turbocharged gasoline inline 4 engine, set to be rolled out throughout most of the Jaguar and Land Rover range in short order and delivering an impressive amount of firepower in the F-Type. It might be short on both cylinders and displacement when compared with its predecessors, but the peak 296 horsepower is slightly more than the Jaguar XJS made from a 5.3-litre V12 in the early 1990s. Jaguar is predictably keen to have us perceive the new power plant as something other than an economy option, and, although the 4-cylinder will drop the entry-level price for the range slightly, the most obvious benefit is the claimed pairing of 115 pounds of mass when compared with the 3.0-litre V6 that now sits above it in the range hierarchy. The 2.0-litre will be available only with an 8-speed automatic gearbox. Jaguar execs admit that their expensively engineered 6-speed manual transmission offered in V6 F-Type models is selling in disappointingly small numbers. There won't be an all-wheel drive option with the smaller engine, either. Jaguar asserts that the 2.0-litre automatic will dispatch the 0 to 60 mph benchmark in 5.4 seconds, or 0.1 second quicker than the company's claim for the previous base model, a 340 horsepower V6 with a manual. The only stick-shift F-Type we've tested was a coupe equipped with a stronger 380 horsepower V6, which appends an S to the naming ran to 60 mph in 4.9 seconds. Lacks little on the road. We drove the new car over some of the same roads in North Wales that Jaguar's engineering team made extensive use of during its development. This is a land where the asphalt can be as challenging as the syntax. The fast A470 that links between Swicoed with Blenheim Festiniog is particularly notable on both counts, and this smaller engine F-Type acquits itself brilliantly. The new engine isn't the most natural sports car power plant, being more keen to produce low-down grunt than high-revving excitement. With the gearbox in manual mode and the car in its more aggressive dynamic setting, accessed through a checkered flag switch next to the gear selector, it is not hard to find the engine's rev limiter, at 6,750 revolutions per minute in first and second gears and 6,500 revolutions per minute in high ratios. Left to its own devices, though, the transmission always shifts far closer to 5,500 revolutions per minute where the engine's output peaks, but these gear changes are both prompt and smooth. While there's no shortage of noise under enthusiastic use thanks to a roaring exhaust system, and even some pops and bangs when the driver lifts off the accelerator, there's never any doubt that you're listening to a 4-cylinder soundtrack, which sounds, frankly, incongruous in a 2-seat Jaguar. It's the one area where the basic F-Type feels clearly inferior to its 6 and 8-cylinder siblings, although under gentle use the engine note fades away to a pleasing background burble. Unlikely to dominate US sales. Apart from its bland soundtrack, the 2.0-litre F-Type seems like a convincing expansion of the model range. Yet we know its appeal has been honed for those parts of the world where gasoline costs more than vintage wine and where buyers pay punitive taxes based on displacement, power output, or CO2 emissions. None of that applies in these United States, so we suspect that most US buyers will continue to opt for the brawnier and better-sounding V6 and V8 versions, despite the savings offered by the 4-cylinder. Then there's the small matter of the Porsche Boxster and Cayman. Even this 4-banger F-Type still carries a significant price premium over what are currently our two favorite sports cars, while the Ingenia makes no more power than the base 718s. Americans willing to pay more for the Jaguar are likely to choose one of its more powerful engines.